Welcome to the Gaming Bench. Something a little different this time. Usually I build an ancient game, but today I'm going to lean into the bench part of my channel's name and build a pair of storage benches. You can put games in them if you want, or anything else. All right, let's get to it. Like I said, I'm building a pair of benches, one from red oak, one from poplar. Other than that, they're going to be exactly the same. I've already jointed all of these boards and cut them to rough length. So the first thing I'm going to do is build the panels I need for the front, back, and sides. Sanded all the panels up to 220. I'll have to sand them again after construction, but it's just a lot easier to deal with them now as flat panels than one that's actually a box. I also squared off one end with my track saw, and now I'm gonna square off the other end on my table saw to make sure I have square panels. Next, I want to cut a handle into the sides of the bench. I drew it out. I have a templating bit I'm going to use. So I'll cut that on my router table, but I'm going to hog out some of the material first, just with a drill. I've used these routing temples several times before, but it always kind of freaks me out. So I have this attached just with blue tape and super glue. And here we go. I think I'm just afraid of the router table in general. Yeah, it looks great. No incidents. Still a little scared of it. Happy with the way these turned out. Also went back to the router table and put a round over on the handle so it feels a little nicer. An operation that I'm much more comfortable with. So now we're ready to start putting this thing together. It's been quite some time since I've built anything this large. I've been building smaller tabletop board games, and I've forgotten how heavy things can be, especially when you're making them out of 3/4 oak. All right, that looks pretty good. I have an idea. I'm looking at the top of the bench, and the whole thing is made out of oak, and it's nice, but kind of plain looking. And if I plug all the screw holes with walnut caps, what if I cut the lid in half and put a strip of walnut down the middle. I can't decide if that's a terrible idea or an interesting idea. All right, I thought about it for a while, and I went ahead and did it. Cut this in half. Then I cut a piece of walnut just to see what it might look like. I think it's gonna look good. So I think I'm gonna cut biscuits in this just to give it a little more support. People will be sitting on this, and then I'll glue it all together. I finally got tired of sanding this thing and ended up sending it through my planer just to take a really shallow pass. I still got a little snipe on it on both sides somehow, but I was able to sand that out. So I'm really happy with the way this is looking. Now on to plugging the holes for the screws. So I think I mentioned that I'm building this oak bench for my wife to give out as a prize. And she just reminded me that she needs it this weekend. Today's Monday. I was pretty sure I had a couple more weeks to work on it. So now I got to get moving. I added some feet to the bottom of the chest. Just added a couple panels here because it looked a little disproportional without them, and I use that little curved feature that are like on the ends. So now I just need to give everything one final sanding, attached to hardware, and we'll finish it. Okay, since I'm now on an accelerated timeline, went ahead and sanded all of this up to 220 grit off camera so I didn't have to fuss with changing angles and whatnot. And now I'm going to put the first coat, well, probably the only coat of this Osmo hard wax oil. I used it for a previous project and I was really happy with the results. So let's do it again. I just hope I have enough. A little bit goes a long way, but it's a much bigger project than my last one. All right, all that I have left to do is assemble this. I have the lid on a piano hinge. I've already attached to the lid. I just need to screw this in. All right. Last thing we're going to do is put a little length of chain on the inside to prop it open so it doesn't fly the whole way back every time you open up the lid. Okay, so for the record, today is Tuesday, so I have this done well in advance of the actual delivery date, even though I would like to give it a couple weeks for this hard wax to cure completely, but it'll be fine. It's not tacky or oily to the touch. So that's it for the oak bench. I've been working on the poplar bench at the same time. So even though I haven't shown every step, you can rest assured that it also went through sanding, building, drilling, more sanding. and I'll show you how I'm going to finish up the poplar one next. So I built the poplar chest exactly like I built the oak chest, with one big exception, is I put these rails on the poplar just to add a little more decoration to it. And you can see that I didn't try very hard to sand out the glue lines or any of the pencil lines, because I always intended to paint this thing. So these rails not only make it look nice, but it's a nice way to hide the screw holes in the front of it. All right, let's finish gluing this together. Glue's dry, and all that's left now is I need to flush cut these plugs and then sand. All right. So sanding is the worst part of any woodworking project. But, you know, I'd argue there's good sanding and there's bad sanding. Well, not good and bad. There's satisfying sanding and unsatisfying sanding. Like when I was doing the Nyout board, where the board was covered with pencil lines and all the inlay was still uneven, and I was able to sand, clear all that off, bring everything flush, and really make it look like a finished product. That was good sanding. This is bad sanding, because all I'm going to do is sand this up to 110, and then I'm going to paint it. So I'm not going to see any of the fruits of those labors, but, you know, it has to be done. Put 2 coats of paint on this, inside and out. All that's left now is to attach the lid. Like the oak chest, I have a piano hinge. Just need to attach this. All right. I think that looks pretty good. I made this so that the overhang for the lid was the same on all sides, so that it naturally bumps against the back and stays open. Okay. So this is also, for the record, delivered way before it needs to be, like months before. So I feel good about that. It's a little bit different than what I've done before. Now, usually I'm building smaller board games, tabletop board games, but you could certainly put a number of board games inside this chest. So if this is the kind of content you like, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time on The Gaming Bench.